So this morning I was going to do a little, makeup tutorial with you. I'd bought a bunch of products, specifically a matte foundation to kind of deal with the acne situation that I have going on from my Differin gel purge. I'm on week 6 and it's looking, I feel like the worst it's ever been. I literally have like 50 little pimples all over my face at the same time, coming out to say hey. And I've never had to deal with that before. And so I was going to wake up, put on my makeup, do like a trial run and kind of have like a chit chat, get ready with me, kind of old school style. But I woke up from a bad dream and I literally don't want to put any makeup on my face today because I just wanted to like breathe. I want to go to the gym and then put on some like drying lotion that I bought yesterday for like my biggest pimples. I'll show you. Say that guy. And like my forehead ones. So this might be nothing to like a long time acne sufferer or like nothing to like somebody, but this is what the purge week 6 looks like on my skin. I am someone who took birth control for like years, like at least 5 or 6, probably even 10. And I'd never had to deal with this really. And so it's kind of a lot for me. So I've just been going around like this. I don't even try to cover it up. I just kind of like put on my skin things. I learned so much about skin barriers and like all this stuff. Like, I don't know why I'd never educated myself on like this kind of thing until like it happens to me. Like I never educated myself on like what happens when you are healing from wisdom teeth extractions until I was like deep in the middle of wisdom teeth extraction healing. Like I would just constantly look up, is this normal? It's gonna take longer. When am I gonna be normal again? Like that kind of thing. And so my research is always like reactive. It's never like, oh, I'm thinking about getting this thing done. Like I don't ever research, and maybe that's like a weird thing, but like, does anybody else do that? Like I try to learn the most about what is happening to me right now. And then I understand it. And in a weird way, it makes me like feel better. So this week I was going to do that today with you. I was like, I'm gonna talk about the things that had happened in my life and blah, blah, blah. But like I woke up out of a bad dream that was like oddly enough, like business related. And I woke up tired and I was just like, you know what? I don't really want to put on makeup today. I just don't. So I'm going to have a breakfast picnic that I ate most of it already. I ate my blood oranges already out of my like pottery bowl that I found at the bins. I have a crack in it, so I kept it instead of selling it. So that's my story. That's why we're here, instead of doing a makeup tutorial with the stuff that I bought. But anyways, yeah, so that's how I've been dealing with it. This is week 6 out of the 12 and I feel really ugly. I know it's like temporary, hopefully, knock on wood. Because I guess sometimes this whole treatment doesn't work for people and you're supposed to be able to tell by like week 12 if it's not gonna work for you. So some other people take a lot longer to purge, and I guess maybe I'm just like one of those people that takes a ton of time to purge because like, as I said, I never really did too much for my skin. So anyways, I tried to make myself feel better by researching all week. Whenever I felt like I wanted to stop this whole thing of like waking up worse, that's literally what happened. Week 1, it was kind of okay. Week 2, a little bit not great. By the time that I had my first date with that Ken person, that was like January 20th. It's now February 9th. And I think it's actually gotten worse from that time that I thought it was at its peak worst. Little did I know. So I just Google, when does the purge stop? Like over and over and over again. And then I read people's words over and over and over again. I try not to like pick it. I try not, like, it's very hard. I try not to do all these things. And it's like, I don't care if you're not doing like a retinoid treatment. I don't care if like this has nothing to do with you. You have that one instance in your life where like you're working on something and it's not immediate results. I know you do. So like in a way you could probably relate to this. It's like it gets real bad before it gets good. Like going to the gym is actually hard too. Like I heard that it's super easy, well it's not super, but it's much easier to stay in shape than it is to get in shape. Like it's a painful process. Like, oh, it's just the worst. So this week I just had like a bunch of different new coping mechanisms that I'd never really had. And I'm just really lucky that like I'd never really had this like my whole life. I feel really bad for people that had this their whole lives. Like I had to do different things. Like I had to like calm my nerves. There's like different like strategy to this. There's like calming your nerves, not looking at yourself constantly in the mirror and like reiterating that this is what you look like now, right? So like if you don't look at yourself, you just kind of like remember yourself as you were before with like clear skin, with like a few bumps or whatever. But like if I look at myself now and take like a lot of pictures and just like do that in my mind that this is how I am now, it might be damaging because I don't feel like I look pretty. So to myself. So I want to do like a little bit of selective memory. So I don't look at myself too much, but I also don't put like a ton of like effort into like making myself look the best. I literally just go around town like this. Like I don't hide it. I do all of my errands like this. I just try to put on the best stuff that will like help it get better faster, not like help my mental state. Because like if I took the time and like made myself, you know, prettied up and like put makeup on, I'm sure that it would disrupt like my skin because I'm messing with it more and putting more layers of things on it more. But like it would help him with my mental thing. I'm sure you kind of get that if you're not dealing with this type of situation. Like if you gained weight or whatever and you're not used to like your body as it's gained weight, maybe you don't buy nicer clothes that fit you better. Maybe you stay in the frumpier clothes that don't fit you that well, and then you feel like a little sausage in your old clothes because they're ill-fitting now. But like it's the same mental thing. Like you're not ready to see yourself like this because you feel like it's a temporary situation. You can lose the weight or you can go back to like, you know, fitting into your, you know, your clothes or whatever, and you're not like accepting that this is the state of things and just kind of like making that state better. It's like full denial. So like the not looking in the mirror is a little bit full denial so that I can, you know, remember what I looked like before. Like it's kind of like that. So this week I tried to do the whole think about things, rationalize things away, but also like a little bit accepting that this is part of the process, and also accepting that I still want to do my life. Like I have not given myself the excuse that I should stop dating. Like it's getting to be like pretty bad and I've never felt uglier, but I still arrange dates. Like I have one tomorrow, which is why I'm not putting on makeup today because I know I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So I went shopping for makeup that would cover this so I could feel confident and normal, and one more confident than, you know, showing up like this. And so it's like I didn't expect this, but I don't know what I expected. But it's like a process. Like everything is a process. So I just kind of like wanted to talk about it. Like it's it is a mental process when you are changing things. It's not just a physical process. Like I said, you have to get used to your new normal. I don't know if it's like the whole like 5 stages, like however many there are, like the whole death thing, like the grieving process. I'm sure that there's different stages of like acceptance of like a new phase of your life. Right? So there's like the doing. And I did a lot of doing this week. Cause I just remember I like open up my Pinterest and sometimes there's like those stupid corny like messages like screaming back at me in the morning. And it's just like one of them that was very poignant was like, at some point, if you want to like actually go to where you want to go, you have to start doing those things. And like, that's not verbatim. It's just like, I understand the doing is part of the process. There's the mentally preparing part of the process. And there's the actual doing. And then there's the stages of emotions of like what's actually happening as you're doing them. Because like the things, the actions sometimes move faster than what's inside your brain. So the pimples were coming out faster than how I could, and like changing my appearance faster to something worse, I felt faster than how I could catch up with my self-esteem mentally. So like I just did a lot of like band-aid situations, just like looking on Reddit and just getting reassurance, buying some foundation to put on top of it instead of like, I can fully own this. And like, I don't know if I'm ready to fully own that. And I feel like that's pretty normal. Like if this was a permanent situation, I would be forced to kind of like fully own it, like eventually. Like I wouldn't just want to cover up forever. I wouldn't want to delay my life. I wouldn't want to like live below my, not my expectation, below my ability to live my life to the fullest just because of that if it was permanent. So I would have to have acceptance, but because something is temporary, you can give all these little excuses. That's why it's the same kind of metaphor for like the whole if you like gain weight thing. You don't have to fully accept it, but if you accept it that this is going to take a long time to reverse or a long time to get to a different point, then like your confidence will like have to catch up. It can't stay stagnant or stuck to where it was before this all happened. The actions are faster, move faster than how your brain processes sometimes. And I was just lucky that I didn't have bad self-esteem from like what my skin looked like before. And so this isn't triggering because I never had this before, but it like, if this process takes any more time than a couple more months, I think this might have a bad effect on my skin or on my mental health more so than now, like more kind of like, you know, diminishes my internal light a little bit. And then I'll have to be like, okay, I'm going to have to accept that, you know, this is the way it is. But because it's temporary, I can band-aid it, right? And I don't have to like fully work on the full acceptance part in my brain to get it to where I can have good self-esteem about bad skin. So anyways, that was kind of like a weird rant about this thing that's happening to my face, but I do feel like it's a little bit relatable to other people in different situations. Like, I don't know another situation, but I'm sure that there's plenty that aren't just like with your skin or with weight or whatever, where it's like you put actions towards something and then your mental capacity just doesn't follow. Maybe I kind of talked about that with my brother actually. He's been talking to me kind of a lot lately and it's been making me like really happy. I tell him about my dates, he kind of laughs at them. He gives me advice about what to look for, and it's kind of like cute because he like tells me all these things. He's like, you're just so great, don't sell yourself short. And I'm like, thanks little brother. Like this is the kind of relationship that I've like literally always wanted with him, and we just never had for whatever reason. So it's been kind of like nice. I know I'm pulling out my hair right now, but when I first wake up in the morning, a lot of hair falls out. So I guess I'm just getting rid of that with you right now. This is literally like bed hair put on my gym. In the UK, they call it a gym kit. I call it my gym clothes. I don't know why it's called a gym kit, but maybe if you're from the UK, you can kind of explain that to me. But I watched Sophie Shahad's video and she's like, I'm going to the gym and this is my gym kit. So, yeah, I don't know why I said that. But anyways, I rolled out of bed to do this video because I knew I didn't want to put on makeup, and I still wanted to talk to you in the morning, get that done. So I can sit here with Mario Badescu's drying lotion all over my big guy pimples. And hopefully they go away by tomorrow. Please. I know that's probably not gonna happen, but that's why I'm filming this morning. So that I can go to the gym, feel good about my body. It always makes me have like good hormones, good endorphins or whatever after I go to the gym, even though I don't want to. I'm dead tired, don't want to. But I will do that. Then I'll put on my drying lotion, I'll sit here. Then I'll put on my adapalene crap tonight. And hopefully wake up with slightly better skin situation. Anyways, so my brother tells me all these things about like what I should look for, and it's been kind of fun. I don't know why I did like my brother tangent, except for the fact that I've been sharing more about like my actual life with him, and I feel like I share a lot of my actual life with you guys, but there was a lot of doing this week. There was arranging of a new date. There was discerning of people that like I didn't want to date, and like I'm getting better at telling people to their face and not ghosting them that they're just not for me. I went out by myself, which I think is a good skill. And the reason why I think that's a good skill, to be able to like be forward with how you think, like obviously not hurt people's feelings, like kind of like tell them, you know, I'm not interested in you romantically, but you seem like a nice person. I'm sure that you're gonna find somebody really great that like likes you for, you know, all of your unique qualities. I think that's good to like get good at being honest with people and like not leading them on just because you don't want to make them feel bad. I think that's good just in general, but that's also good if I want to like date in person, like go out and like meet people organically. So my goal last week was to kind of like incorporate the whole going out thing by myself and talking with people and being social, and I did that. Like right after that video I filmed last week, I went out to the burger place, and there was one empty place at the end of the bar, and it wasn't like the best situation to like talk with people, but there was a couple of people to talk with. And I had some drinks, I had 2, and then I ordered a burger, and I was there for like an hour and a half, I think. And within that time, I told like a girl that she had a really nice manicure, and she like talked to me for a little bit. And like it always like just goes easier for me once I find something that I can like compliment somebody on, or like just open the conversation with like the bartender, just like that kind of thing. Like I'm not so shy that I won't talk to people, but it's like I have to actually like put effort in. So that's like my little hack, I guess, is why I'm trying to talk to you guys about that. If you have an introverted personality like I do, these were like my little hacks that like led me to an actual conversation with people. And I'm sure I don't have to like teach you how to like, you know, be social, but these were just things that like were just easy normal ins that I just did naturally, that I thought I should talk about maybe if, you know, you don't really know what to do. And if you wanted to kind of like do that as well, just be more of a social person and expand your horizons a tiny bit. Literally all I did was like look over, and she had like gel nails on or something with like French tips, and I was like, oh, I really like your manicure. And then she was just like nice to me after that, and it's not like she looked extra approachable or something. She was even with somebody else. It wasn't like she was just like there by herself, like, so it wasn't like she was 100% like, oh, this person's gonna be super easy to talk to, because she just looks open and easy to talk to. But that little hack worked. And like talking to the bartender about like what their favorite cider on draft was, open a conversation, and then it's not super weird, I guess is what I'm trying to lay out, if I want to talk to somebody else in like kind of like a flirty way. Like I've talked to the person next to me, I've talked to the bartender, and so this guy that was sitting next to me the entire time while I'm doing my little, you know, social thing with those other people, I think he literally heard that because he was like right next to me. And so when I talked to him, it probably wasn't like I was targeting him and like being really weird, but like it just happened naturally. So like I needed another napkin, and there was only like those little tiny square bartender napkins like near me, and so I asked him if I could steal one of his napkins, and he said yes. And then like we just talked about stupid stuff, and then we just talked about our lives. And then we talked about, you know, what we were doing there, and I actually learned kind of like a lot about him. He wasn't like really my type. He was like kind of like farm boy, kind of like come to big city, like his words, not mine. And he was one of those people that I could tell like had big dreams, but like no follow through. Like this is what happened through the conversation. And he was a nice guy. But like he wasn't like something for me, but like it was just interesting to kind of learn how to develop a naturally flowing conversation from things that were just happening. Like the in-person skill is a skill. And so like the little things that I'm telling you were like the little hacks to get it to kind of like start. So he asked me like a bunch of questions that just seemed like normal and free-flowing, and then I would make him laugh a little bit, and then I think he wanted to kind of like hang out with me a tiny bit like after we were done. We got done around the same time. He's like, oh, what are you doing now? And I was like, I'm gonna go home, I'm old. Because I was tired. Like it was like a lot for me to like be social, and like it was the end of my work day, it was the end of my long week of like, you know, all of this stuff. Because it's not like I give myself like days off. Like I feel like I have so much catching up to do, and like so many sales that I need to keep making, and just like because it's not still going well, so I don't give myself like a lot of time. And so I was just tired, and I really wasn't feeling him like romantically anyways. It was good to talk to another person who was clearly single, who was around my age. I think it was 34 and I'm 38, and just like not be a total weirdo. Like I don't know if I just, sometimes when guys talk with me, even if like they're not super hot and I'm like not like attracted to them or something, like I'll still like turn red, because like I don't talk to people like out in like the wild or whatever. Like it just kind of like throws me off guard, and it was a little bit good to just kind of get used to that, I guess. Like I am in my element when it's online, and like I have, you know, all of my same kind of like personality or whatever, because it's super easy to just be like, you know, in my pimple cream, like on my couch, like kind of like bantering with somebody. But it's like a whole different thing when like you're eating a burger and like the burger juice is like dripping off your face or whatever, and like the other person's asking you kind of like a flirty question. It's like different. And so I'm like, I need this in-person skill. I need to not turn beet red if someone asks me something. So not only will this help me with like, you know, learning what's around me and having fun, sort of, and like, you know, going out and doing things that are not just work. It'll help me like be social. Maybe eventually I'll find like a friend, like a person that I could just be friendly with. I don't know, maybe I'll find like a really cool place that I'll just like go back to and like, you know, develop a rapport with people there. Or I don't know what my goal is with this, but I just know that if I just keep putting myself out there to do things that, you know, I don't really want to do, I will get closer to what I do want to have. So I don't want to be like this weird person who gets embarrassed by like just somebody talking to them. Like I know that that's weird, and I have to like deal with it. And I am dealing with it, but in like little baby forms. So while I am still going on like dates, I I am trying to like get better at in person. So this week I'm gonna skip that going out by myself thing on a Friday, because tomorrow I'm gonna go out with that person. So if I don't have a date for next week, I'll just do the whole Friday thing again, and I'll go out somewhere else. The way that I'm getting to like learn about where to go and like exploring is like, I just ask different Tinder people, like, where's your favorite spot? And then I just steal it as my own and go there by myself. So I don't really, because like, I think that's part of like the decision paralysis sometimes, for me at least, is like there's so many places to go and I don't really know where to go, that like to eliminate them is kind of difficult. And I kind of already have decision fatigue by the end of my day anyways. I make so many decisions on my own without consulting most people. And so I'm just like, I don't really want to deal with it. Like, I'll just eat like yogurt or something. Like, I have decision fatigue so much that like I don't really even want to decide what to eat. So anyways, so I let Tinder people decide, and so I just spontaneously go to like where they said was their favorite, and if it's bad, I blame them in my brain. So anyways, I've only done that once, but it was good. It was a good place. So that Tinder person had good taste. I didn't end up actually liking that Tinder person, but that doesn't matter. I liked his place. So anyways, I have a couple of different places in cities that are a little bit further away to like explore on my own for like the next time in like a different area. And so that's kind of fun to like look forward to. But so that's how that is going. I did go out. I did have kind of fun. I did talk to a person. I did flirt a little bit. I wasn't a total weirdo. And then I went to bed, and I woke up and I was kind of happy with myself. So I felt like I made progress, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I had a goal and I kind of did it. I don't know if I did it like the best, but I did it. Another part of my doing this week that I didn't want to do, that has taken some baby steps to get to this point, is I had really bad dental anxiety, to the point where I never went, ever. If you watch me before, you just know that like for probably about 10 years, maybe even longer, I just didn't go because I was just scared that they were going to tell me that my teeth were bad, and I thought they were going to shame me, and I just didn't do it. I had dental insurance, I had no reason not to, but I just literally just didn't do it. So the last few years, I think like maybe the last 3 years, I've been working on coming to face with, you know, what I ignored. And it's not pretty. I've had a root canal, I've had teeth extractions, I've had failed operations, I've had pain that I didn't really normally, I wouldn't have had I just done it sooner, but I did have because I didn't deal with it. So I want to get to like not that point and like all of the things that I'm working on. I don't want it to get so bad like that, where like it's just so hard to get back into shape. Like shape of my teeth, shape of my health, like all these things. So it's easier to stay in shape than it is to get in shape. Just think about that, Michelle. It's easier to stay in shape than it is to get in shape. Like with everything. So as long as like you just keep doing these little things, it eventually will just be like a nice working machine. And because it feels nice when I'm just like letting it slip, right? It feels super nice. It's like, oh, I have some downtime. But as I'm not like maintaining or pushing forward or doing anything on the things that I was gonna work on, it just gets harder and harder to start again. So my teeth thing, I think I have cavities in every single one of my teeth that have been fixed now. Like literally except for like my front teeth and these teeth. All of the sides, both sides, top and bottom, have filler or cavity composite crap in them because I had so many cavities from not dealing with it. So one of my ultimate goals is to get Invisalign. And when I was in the desert, I thought I had all of my dental things kind of taken care of that would be before I get the Invisalign. So I kind of thought that I would be getting Invisalign already, but I guess I had like 7 fillings that they didn't do, that I didn't know that they didn't do. And so I've had to take care of that while I was here. And so I only have 2 more out of the 7. So I'm like, ugh. I had 3 of them done last Monday. Which, like, you don't care about any of this stuff, except for the fact that, like, maybe you have some things that, you know, you've been a little bit neglecting or whatever. And, like, I understand, 100% I understand why. I understand the excuses, I understand all of it. But eventually, if you want to get to where you're trying to get to, you kind of have to start making actions towards that. So I guess my whole channel is like the actions towards that. I want to have a good relationship with my family. What does that even look like at this point? Well, that might look like, you know, just talking to my brother every now and then and making little baby steps. Talking to my dad. Don't talk to my sister. I kind of missed my mom today, actually. I like woke up and I was just like, I could talk to my mom. But see, like, I don't even like let myself like think about that normally. But now I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm thinking about my whole family thing. It like brings like a little bit of tears to my eyes because like I'm so hardened most of the time to it. Because I don't have a relationship with my mom, which is fine. But like today I woke up after my bad dream and I was just like, I wish I could talk to my mom. And I can't. So I'm just gonna work on these other hard things that I can kind of deal with. So I'm going to force myself to get up and do life today. I haven't been sleeping very well lately. I think I've been pretty stressed, but it's like the whole thing about catching up to my mental health. My mental thing is catching up to the things that I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of different things in different aspects of my life right now. And I think that's kind of like why I'm having bad dreams. And I think that's kind of like why I'm drudging up like old kind of like feelings about stuff that I kind of like keep buried. It's because like I'm dealing with a lot and it's kind of like churning the pot a little bit instead of just doing my normal things where I just work on my like 1 or 2 things that I work on and then I get really good at them. Like I used to just get really good at doing my work and then doing like my physical activity. Like that's all I did. But I'm doing all these different aspects of things now. And I'm educating myself more about my body health and, you know, what that all would look like. And, you know, the things I have to do, it feels very climb up a mountain type deal. But I want to do them. The whole social aspect is like a little bit rough for me. Not because like I don't know how to be social, but it's just like an extra element of a little bit anxiety for me. I feel like I'm pretty good with people and I can have good conversation, but it is like my comfort zone to be by myself, right? So that does like dredge up like I need to be comforted, and maybe that's why I was like I want my mom even though she never was ever comforting. So I don't know why I wanted that, but like this morning I did wake up and I was like I miss my mom. So I am working on all these things and it's just like a process. It's a process to like let your brain catch up with what you're doing. I'm taking more and more responsibility with my business. Like I opened up a business bank account. Like I have a business bank account and a business savings account specifically for the money that I make with my business. And you're like, well, didn't you have that before? No, I didn't. I had it all commingling with like my personal stuff and it was very like not great. And because like I had a sole proprietorship, which basically just means that you had a business but you didn't really do anything formal to like make that a business, right? Like a sole proprietorship is, I think, a business like a business thing still, like recognized as a business, but it's not, you didn't take any formal action to file anything legal with it. Like, I did taxes as if I was a sole proprietor, but like this next coming year I will do taxes as if I have an LLC. And it's like, it's a leveling up of like the doubling down of what I'm doing with like my direction of things. And it's like, you can pretend like you don't have a business, like when you have a sole proprietorship, kind of like it's like this fun little hobby you do. But like when you actually have to like file for certain things, and like you have to do it like the real correct way, like getting more and more and more formal with this is like acceptance of this life. It's kind of like, because before I could like pretend to myself that like it wasn't like a real thing. Like if somebody could ask me what I did, oh, I just do this little hobby thing, like I didn't really have to make it like a big deal. But now I can say like I am an actual owner of something. Like I'm an owner of a piece of paper that says I have an LLC. It's like a real thing. So I've been just like doing all the real things that equate to acceptance of that responsibility for real in my head. I don't know if that makes any sense, but before I was very like, well, if it doesn't work out, I can always do something else. And now it's kind of like I am accepting that this is how it is, which is very funny because I'm accepting that this is how it is during the worst economic downtime. Like, it'd be much easier to accept that this is how it was when it was going very great. Like, but that's a whole nother thing. But it's just like interesting to see what I'm doing, like my actions to myself, to see what I'm doing. I've accepted this formally in my head and taken actions formally in the real world with like bank accounts and like, you know, switching over my eBay account from like an individual account to a business account, making the last bits of my website come to life. And I still haven't done that, but it's like I have been doing all of these things and it's kind of like a lot. And it's what I needed and wanted to do, but I guess that's why I feel the way that I feel. It's like a little bit overwhelmed that my actions have not caught up with like how I feel in my head. And I think I brought up my brother because I wanted to kind of talk about, he told me that he has a thing where he feels less than even if he's achieved a lot. And he has achieved a lot, him and his family. So I think a lot of it had to do with how we grew up. And a lot of it had to do with like the area that we grew up too. So I know I've talked about that in like my career videos, but a lot of how I feel about my imposter syndrome has to do with like my ill-prepared brain to meet up with the actions that I took to like better myself, right? So I still see myself as this poor little person from like an uneducated part of the world that just like, you know, was from a family that just like worked hard, you know, like I still see myself like that. And it's hard to like match up like the actions that I've taken to not be like that. So I guess that's like the overall theme. It's in every single thing that I've told you about, there's been a process where it's not completely like solidly formed of like how I see myself, how the world sees me, and how it actually is. There's like a fighting element to it where it's not smooth yet, and I don't know if it's ever going to be smooth, but I just do know that if I work on it enough and I acknowledge the different aspects of why it's not smooth yet, maybe I just need more practice, or maybe I have to accept the more long-term thing. Remember I told you about the short-term thing, like the temporary thing? I can band-aid those problems and I can kind of get past like the mental aspect with the band-aids, but if it's a long-term thing, like, I don't even know if this is like a thing in psychology, so don't like quote me on this and this is how you fix your life, but this is how I'm thinking about it. If it's a long-term thing, you have to have some sort of acceptance so that you can move on, so your self-esteem doesn't get stuck. I think that's kind of like sort of a little bit why I have some of the insecurities that I have, because some part of the way a temporary thing became a permanent thing, and then I became stuck somewhere in that, and I never like accepted the process and got like better solutions. I just had band-aids, and then the band-aids kind of fell off and like got yucky or whatever, and I never really put on any other solution for it. I just kind of dealt with it, right? So this whole process of redefining like who I want to be and then putting actions towards it is like finding out where like my band-aids fell off. And it's like, whoa. Like, it's like dealing with things that I never really dealt with. And it's a process, because it's more like understanding that I'm not in shape and I have to get in shape, and it's an uphill battle, right? So some of the things are like pretty good. They're like chugging right along. And like some of the things that I ignored are like not chugging right along, and they're like a little bit tough for me. So it's interesting to see the different strategies that I have in my own brain of how to fix things. Like, some things are really easy to like band-aid, and I know what to do to band-aid them. Like the whole skin thing. I knew that I just had to buy some foundation to make myself look and feel okay. And that would be a good enough band-aid until this whole crap gets, you know, fixed up. But like, where it comes to like how I feel about my business, I don't know a band-aid that will just be like, oh, I can, you know, I feel like a business owner, or I feel like a business person, or I feel like an entrepreneur, or I feel like, you know, a successful person, or, you know, all these things. That seems to me like a different kind of, it needs a different kind of band-aid. I can't just buy an LLC and like the foundation would be the LLC. Right? The foundation was the band-aid for my skin problem. The LLC was not the band-aid for my business problem that I had with my imposter syndrome. It's like a little bit different. It's like a deeper layer of problem. I just have to find a better solution. I have to like, I think that's part of like the whole like acceptance of doing things the proper way, telling myself that I am going to do things in a formal way. It's not just for fun. You haven't been doing this for fun the whole time. So it's like acceptance that was your chosen path, and like fully committed to it, instead of just like giving yourself an out in your head that this was always like a hobby, or it's just like you downplay it to other people, or like whatever. If you accept that it's formal, and you tell people that it's a formal thing, and you know, all of your actions in every way kind of say that it's a formal thing, then you will rise to the occasion, I feel, that of what you need to be in your head of a formal thing. Mentally, I'm just working on that as I'm talking to you, and that seems like a possible solution of acceptance, but maybe not. Maybe that I'm still gonna have imposter syndrome, so I don't know. So anyways, this took on a whole different like path than what I thought. I was just gonna tell you about some blood oranges and some week 6 Differin gel, and you know, tell you that I was gonna go to the gym after, and that's all I thought I was gonna talk about. So I love that this kind of like steers me off a path of like figuring out things. I don't know if it's interesting to you, because I don't know if it's relatable to you. I hope it is in some way. I hope it is, but if nothing else, at least you'll like see the process of how another person is doing this in their own lives, and like, I don't know, maybe that's cool. Like, I am excited for myself that I made myself like go out and like talk to people in the real world, because like I don't know if I don't think I told you this. Yesterday I read this book. I read this book on Audible like today is my first day that I have my new credit or whatever, and so whenever I don't have credits, I will go to like their originals section, and it's just like books for free that you can kind of like waste time until you get your credits, or you can buy new credits, but I didn't want to. Anyways, long story short, I read this book, and at the end they were talking about how people decide to, I forget the company, maybe it's called Ritual, I forget. They have like an actual company that is just like, I'm sure that there's more than one company actually, where people like just make up AI friends so they don't have to deal with real people. Like they were using them as substitutes for girlfriends and boyfriends, and it was literally just like a mirror of what they were themselves. They would not program, but they would teach the AI how to interact with them and how they liked it and blah, blah, blah. And like, that's not real. I don't want that. I never want that. I want to not be so screwed up that I'm sorry if that's what you do, but I think that's kind of like a bad band-aid. You don't want to deal with people's problems. You don't want to deal with like people's personalities. You don't want to deal with anything, and so you create a mirror for yourself and think that that's a relationship. I never want to get there. Like, I have social things where I don't want to talk to people and I don't really enjoy that, but like I never want to have like an AI boyfriend. Holy crap, that's actually worse than having like fake relationships with people that I don't know that they're fake until like too late, right? Like the pen pal relationship, at least that was a real person. Like that might not have been what he would actually say to me in real life because it's through a phone, but it's a real person that I'm interacting with. I never want to get to that part. And I feel like that's really sad for like human, like people are supposed to relate to other people. You're not supposed to relate to like a mirror version of yourself and just like to think that that's like a fulfilling relationship. That is stunting. And I couldn't believe that people did that. Like, I understand it. It's easy and they're gonna know you inside and out and it's gonna feel the best. But like part of, like that's scary to me. Like I never talk about AI and I never talk about my opinions, but like my opinion is that the AI relationships, so scary. Please don't do that. Please just go out, get some skills. Go out and talk to people. Like for real. So I want to put my money where my mouth is on that. So like I acknowledge that it's not comfortable. And it's not comfortable, especially after the pandemic too. Like I feel like people have just gotten to be like their own little islands, and like it's almost like that when you go out. But at least when you go out, you can melt that little island a little bit and you can kind of be like, you know, your own thing in real life and interact with people again. So it's very islandy when you have something between you and the person. But when it's like a phone, like on apps, very islandy still. Like I feel like people are way more closed. I don't know how many of you guys are actually in the dating world right now, but it's like a little bit rough. And so a workaround is to get better at in-person things because it's not so rough. Like that guy and we were not mean to each other. Like when I kind of like rejected hanging out with him, it was just like, have a good night. It wasn't like unmatched. It wasn't harsh. It wasn't like anything. It was just like normal and nice and like still pleasant, even though I didn't hang out with him after. He was gonna go to like another bar and he wanted to like see where I was gonna go after. And so I just like kind of like politely said that I was going home, and that was enough, right? I don't know why I'm talking about that, but basically I'm just trying to say it doesn't have to be as harsh as the island by yourself. So harsh that you want to like go have like an AI boyfriend or girlfriend. Like there are people that are just normal to talk to, so like don't give up on people. It's kind of like what I'm saying. Don't go so far into your island. So anyways, thank you for listening today. I hope that gave you some things to think about. Let me know in the comments if you're working on anything and you're making some progress, or you're kind of stuck on something. I want to know what you guys are up to, and I hope that you have a great day, a great Friday, and wish me luck tomorrow on my date. And maybe if it goes well, I'll tell you about some things next week about it. So I'll see you guys next Friday.